Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and welcome to part 2 of how to make a pen projects game thing in Scratch. Last time we covered how to make a player controller, so this time we're going to be covering how to make a bullet system, because it's not really a game without bullets, right? Of course, you don't have to follow the tutorial. I'm just going to show you how to make it so that you can implement it in your own games. So last time we covered player movement, so yeah, it's basically going to be in the same format. Okay, so we're going to be continuing off from episode 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save this as a copy. So click File, Save as a Copy. And we're going to rename this one to Pen Tutorial Part, you can name it whatever you want, Part 2, Bullet Part, anything you want. Okay, so Part 2. So how do we get started from here? Hang on, my computer's really lagging right now. I have to figure that out. One sec. Alright, I have switched to a different browser. Apparently it was Google Chrome. Also, I have a little activity monitor thing here just to show like how much resources the Scratch project is consuming. Okay, so anyway, back to the project. So yes, last time we coded up player controller, so we're gonna be whoa, it's so fast now. We're gonna be doing a player controller. Now, of course, why was I using Chrome? Because on Safari I don't get extensions for some reason. I don't get to use the Scratch add-ons extensions. But anyway, that's why I don't like it. Yeah. So what are we gonna do now is we're gonna make bullets. So first of all, we need to draw a cannon to the screen, or else it doesn't look natural for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, how do we draw one? It's pretty easy. What we're gonna do is, inside our player, we're gonna go ahead and create another block. We're gonna call this one draw. Let's call it gun. Why not? Draw gun and run without screen refresh. Click OK. Okay, so draw gun. We're gonna use it right after our draw player right here. Okay, so we can color this however we want. So I'm actually just gonna duplicate this. I'm just gonna go to draw player, duplicate the setup from setup like this. So setup pen like this, and I'm just gonna change this a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit, and make this smaller. Okay, so setup pen at player X, player Y. That's fine. Size 20. I want it to be a bit smaller, so maybe like 15. Color 86, 150, 252. I want this to be a bit darker, so a tip for doing that with RGB colors, all you have to do is half these numbers. So 86 divided by 2 is somewhere near 40, that's 43. 150 divided by 2 is 75. And 252 is 12.5, what? I don't know. 100, 150, 125, 126. That was really slow. I should be better at that. Okay, so yeah, so now, as you can see, yes, so now it's darker, as you can see. That's good, because I kind of want this to be like a tank kind of thing, where it kind of pivots on its axis. Actually, I'm going to make a better player model. I'll be right back. Yeah. Alright, I'm back. I've just made the player look a bit more rounded. I'll show you the code for that. It's actually pretty simple. All we do is set up pen at player X minus 6, player Y. Yeah, just copy the code. I'm actually gonna pen up right at the end. Anyway, so yeah, so I just made the player a bit rounder because it looks nicer. Why is my computer slow? Yeah, as you can see, it's going up. That's annoying. Anyway, yeah. So draw player. Okay. Now we're gonna go back to our draw gun. First of all, the size 15 is a bit too big. Make this the size 12, because, I don't know, that looks better. Okay, pen down, pen up. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna actually duplicate the setup script and get rid of the pen down, pen up. We're just gonna stick that right underneath, and we're just gonna set the size to, I don't know, 6. And same color is fine. Yeah, same color, fine. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up pen, and then we're gonna go ahead and pen down, And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and point towards the mouse pointer, and we're going to move 10 steps. Bam! Okay. A gun. A turret. Perfect. And now it points towards our mouse pointer. That's great. Okay. So, now we have a gun thing, a turret thing, which is nice. My computer's really slow. Okay, it's much better now, as you can see, so, we're just gonna ignore that and pretend it never happened. Okay, so, as you can see, we have a turret on our, player now. So, now we're gonna have to do some, we're gonna have to calculate how to draw a bullet. Now, the easiest bullet, of course, is just to have a dot, right? And that is what I'm gonna do first, but I am actually going to change it a little bit so later so that it looks more like a line, but I don't want to worry about that right now. Let's just get a bullet and let's just get it moving. Okay. And there's no clone limit with pen, so we can have as many bullets as we want. So that's great. That's why I like pen, because there's no clone limit. Anyway, okay, so let's scroll over to our game loop script, and we're going to create a new block. We're going to call it bullet. Okay, and run without screen refresh. Click OK. Yep. And we're just going to drag bullet right in here. So we're going to create another block, call it update bullet. Run without screen refresh. And stick that right underneath our bullet define. And we're also going to create another one, draw bullet. Also, run without screen refresh, click OK. Also, put that right underneath our draw bullet. Put that right underneath our update bullets. Now we have two blocks. Okay, so let's start with update bullet first. So how are we gonna, keep track of where all the bullets are on screen? Now, the easiest way I've found to do this is with a list. So we're gonna go to variables, make a list, and we're gonna call this one bullet X. And it doesn't really matter. Actually, it does matter. Make sure this is for all sprites. List. So I'll just capitalize this. Bullet X. Bullet X. Okay. Okay. And I'm also going to create another one, I'm sure you can guess, bullet Y. Bullet Y, for all sprites. And for now, I'm just going to keep them on the screen so I can see them filling up and going out. First of all, make sure in setup, we're going to go ahead and delete all of bullet X and delete all of bullet Y. Okay, and yeah. Okay. So, inside define update bullet. Well, first of all, we have to create a bullet, right? So, that's kind of important, right? So, inside update bullet, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do an if. Let's do an if. Just an if. So, if, and whatever you want to trigger it on. So, I'm going to do an or, and I'm going to go ahead and go to sensing. If mouse down or key space pressed, then we're going to add two things to our list. We're going to add one thing to bullet X, one thing to bullet Y. So go to variables, we're going to add thing to bullet X, and then we're going to add thing to bullet Y. Now, of course, we don't want to add thing, so what we're going to do is actually, since we want to position this at our player, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add player X to bullet X and add player Y to bullet Y. Okay, so we can actually go ahead and test that. So, let's see. So I can move around. If we click, as you can see, a bullet is spawned at our location. So if we go ahead and re-click the green flag, if we click, as you can see, our bullet is appearing at 0, 0, which is where we are. If we move left, this should be a positive number. Now, one thing I've noticed is I can just hold down space, or I can hold down the mouse pointer, and we will get a whole bunch of bullets at once. Now, that might not be a problem to you, but I don't really want it because that would be very rapid fire. I don't want to do that. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Because we can't really use a wait in here because that will lag everything in our project because this is a pen project. So the easiest way to do this is we're gonna go ahead and create a variable, and this is gonna be called, say, bullet frame. And this is normally used for animation, but I'm going to be using it for waiting. So click OK. Okay, so actually, yeah, okay, that's fine, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hide this bullet frame. Actually, I'm gonna show it for now, you don't have to show it, I'm just gonna show it so I know everything's working properly. Okay, so remember, at the very beginning, inside setup, we're gonna set bullet frame to 4, so that you can't shoot immediately. I'm gonna set it to 10. Okay, so, we're gonna grab an if-else. So, if-else, and what the if is going to be is if bullet frame is less, not less than, sorry. If bullet frame is greater than 0, we're going to change bullet frame by -1. Else, and then we can just drag this if condition inside the else, like this. Now, of course, inside our if, inside our else, we have to set bullet frame to 4. So we can just stick that right inside our mouse down or key space press. Now, the number you set this to, inside our if, the number you set this to is going to be our fire rate. The higher number means lower fire rate. So this is going to be, you can shoot once every 4 frames. Now let's test that. Of course you won't be able to see anything. As you can see, I just saw the bullet frame ticking down. That's good. That's a good sign. Now I'm going to hold down, now I can click once, and it will add 1 item to the list. What if I hold down space? Yes, so now I can only shoot every 4 frames, which is what I want. So that's good. Okay, so I can hide the bullet frame variable now. Okay, so as you can see, our X position is being added to the lists. Okay, so how are we going to move our bullet position? Now, okay, so I forgot about this. We need one more variable. We need one more list, sorry. We're going to need this list. We can call it bullet dir for direction. dir, not capital. And make sure this is for all sprites. Click OK. Okay, so now we have a bullet. I need to spell that right. Bullet dir. We have a bullet dir list. Now I'm gonna shrink this so I can actually see the other lists. But yeah. Okay. So inside our bullet dir, we're gonna have to clear that list at the beginning too. Remember, this is always important. So delete all of bullet dir at the very beginning inside setup. Okay, now inside update bullet, we're gonna have to add, and we're gonna add thing to bullet dir. Now, what are we gonna add to bullet dir? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the player direction to bullet dir. Now, of course, we don't have the player direction. Now, you could just do a point towards mouse pointer like this, and then just add the direction. You can just add the direction like this. That's fine. You could do that because what we're doing is just pointing towards the mouse pointer. Now, I don't really want to do that because what if we're not using the mouse pointer to point? So instead of that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and store our player direction in a variable. So create a new variable, player dir for direction, player dir for this sprite only. Of course you can do it for all sprites because this is a 100% pen project, but whatever. So player dir, we're going to set player dir to, let's say we're, okay, so all we're going to do is we're just going to set player dir to 90. That's just arbitrary, you can set it to anything, because we're just going to point in player dir immediately anyway, because we're using a mouse pointer. But if you're using the arrow keys to turn, for example, you should probably set this to whatever direction you want to be facing first. Okay, so set player dir to 90. Okay, now we're gonna find our draw gun. We're gonna find our draw gun, and we're just gonna go ahead and set player dir to direction. So set player dir to direction. So we can stick that right underneath our point towards mouse pointer. Now I could point towards mouse pointer somewhere else where we can detect it, but we're already pointing towards mouse pointer, so we might as well take advantage of it and just set our direction to that. So if you want, we can quickly test this. So yeah, so as you can see, so if we're pointing up, that's about 0. If we're pointing 90, that's 90. Perfect. Okay, great. So inside update bullet, all we're going to do is we're just going to add player dir to bullet dir. And let's see if that works. So yeah, so we are pointing in the direction of the mouse. So like if I point down, the last few items should be about 180. Whoa, I got it almost exactly. Okay, yeah, so that's good. Now we have a way to aim our bullet. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to need to loop through every single item in this bullet X, bullet Y list, and then update each one accordingly. Okay, so we're going to have to create a new variable, I, for this sprite only. I is normally used for counting, so I'm just sticking to convention. You can call this anything you want. I'm just going to call it I, because it's conventional, and I'm going to click for the sprite only, even though it's not necessary. Okay, so inside update bullet, we're going to grab a repeat 10, and instead of 10, we're going to go down to list, length of, and bullet X, bullet Y, or bullet dir. Any of those should be fine. I'm just going to pick bullet X because it's the first one. Yeah, so repeat length of any of the 3 lists that we have. And we're going to go ahead and we're first going to set our I to 1 at the very beginning. So before our repeat loop, we're going to set I to 1, and then inside our repeat loop, I'm going to change I by 1. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So actually, to make it more convenient, I'm going to set I to 0. And then I'm going to change I by 1, so it changes I by 1 before we start doing all scripts, so we're going to start with 1. It doesn't really matter. If we're going to do 1 here, make sure to put this change I by 1 at the very bottom, but I'm just going to put it at the very top, just for coding convenience. Okay, so we're going to loop through every single item in this list. Okay, and we're going to have to do a bit of trigonometry now. So, first of all, how do we replace an item in the list? Well, lucky for us, Scratch has a block for that. Replace item 1 of bullet dir with thing. Now, of course, we can actually just go ahead and test that. So, look at our bullet dir item 1. If we click this, as you can see, it gets replaced with thing. And we can do whatever we want. We can just do that. So you can literally just put anything in there. Anyway, so yeah, so now we have a way to replace the items in the list. So how do we do this? Well, we're just gonna have to grab replace item 1 of bullet dir with thing. We're first gonna replace replace bullet X, and we're gonna stick this right inside our repeat loop. And make sure to stick I into this item 1, because we don't want to just replace item 1, we're gonna replace I. So replace item I of bullet X with. Okay, so how are we gonna update our bullet X lists? Well, of course we're gonna have to use our bullet dir variable. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna need our previous item. We're gonna need our previous bullet X. So we're gonna go ahead and grab an item I of bullet X, like this. Item I of bullet X. Okay, and we're gonna need an addition, so we are adding on to the previous bullet X. And actually, I'm gonna create another variable for the speed of the bullets. So go to my variable, go to variables, make a variable, bullet speed. Of course, I don't like spaces in variables for some reason, so bullet speed for the sprite only, click OK. Okay, so set bullet speed to 0 inside setup. Okay, and now inside update bullet, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a multiplication, and we're going to go ahead and multiply by bullet speed. Okay, so we can just stick this addition inside here, and stick this whole multiplication addition thing inside the thing block. Okay, So what are we going to add to our previous item I of bullet X? Well, we're going to have to do a bit of trigonometry here. So actually, first of all, instead of multiplying here, we're going to multiply inside the addition like this. So yeah. So replace item I of bullet X with item I of bullet X plus bullet speed multiplied by something. And that something is going to be trigonometry. Yay! Math! Okay, so we're going to have to grab a, how long have we recorded? That's 20 minutes. Okay, we're going to have to finish this episode kind of long. So we're going to have to replace this with a abs of block. And instead of abs, we're going to do, or abs, or absolute, we're going to have to replace this with a sin, or sign. I don't know why people call it sin. I guess it looks like that. It's not sin, guys. It's sign. Stop pronouncing it wrong. Okay. Anyway, sign of, and where we're going to stick it here, well, it's actually pretty easy. We're just going to grab this item I of bullet X, and instead of bullet X, bullet D, dir. Okay. And stick that right in there. And actually, that should be it. So actually, if we go ahead and click this update bullet block, I don't see any differences. Actually, I'm just gonna grab this. Yeah, that's not working. Maybe it might work later. I don't know. Wait. iVariable 68. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe? No? Okay. Okay, that's fine. It might get fixed later. If not, I'll debug later. Anyway, now we have to update bullet Y as well. So replace, and we can just duplicate this whole thing. Duplicate, replace item I of bullet Y with item I of bullet Y plus bullet speed times, and make sure this is a cosine this time, or cos, the cos operator, or cosine. So right underneath here, cosine item I of bullet dir. Okay, so if we click the green flag and nothing's happening. Right, okay, I think I know the problem? Okay, maybe not. That's strange. Because these lists should be updating. Hang on. Debugging time. Let's just click this and see what that looks like, okay, I think I know the problem. Whoops. Yeah, okay. Bullet speed is set to 0, so we can't move at all. We can't move the bullets at all. Okay, we're gonna set bullet speed to 1 and just see what that looks like. Yeah, okay, so as you can see, whenever I click, the bullet X, bullet Y list gets filled up, and the bullet starts moving. So that's good. Let's just see if it's accurate or not. So if we point like almost directly up, the bullet Y should change, but the bullet X not so much. Yeah, so as you can see, it's going straight up, so, yeah. And if we're pointing down, this should be a negative Y. If we're going this way, yeah, so everything's working fine. That's good. So, let's go back to our update bullet lists. Okay, get rid of this. Okay, that was just for testing. Okay, anyway, now let's draw our bullets to the screen. So let's move this out of the way. Let's zoom out a little bit because that's been getting annoying. Okay, draw bullet. How are we going to draw our bullets to the screen? Well, of course we have to loop through every single item again. So what we're going to do is actually we're just going to duplicate this list here. We're just going to duplicate this repeat here, starting from the set I to 0. So just duplicate this, duplicate that, drag it over here. It's lagging so bad. I don't know why. Put this underneath our draw bullet, like this. Okay. So, draw bullet, set I to 0, replace length of bullet X, change I by 1. Of course, we don't want to replace item I of bullet X, so get rid of these things. Okay, and first of all, before our set I to 0, we're going to set up pen. Actually, no, we should set up pen inside our repeat loop. So, set up pen at, and we're just going to say item, go to variables, item I of bullet X. And then go to Y, duplicate that. Item I of bullet Y. Size, let's just say 2. It doesn't have to be I'll make it 5 so I can see it. And color, let's make it blue again. So maybe, I need that color from before. I think it was, yeah, so 86, 150, 252. So, 86, 150, 252. Okay, so this should draw our bullets to the screen? No, right? Because we need to pen down. So go to pen down, and then pen up right after that. Okay, let's see what this looks like. So, if we click, hey, now we have a bullet on the screen. That's great. Now, of course, I don't want our bullet above our player, because I kind of want it to, like, appear from inside our player. So, first of all, I'm going to hide all these lists, because they're kind of getting in the way, and we already know it works, so that's fine. I want the bullets to be behind the player. So how do we do that in a pen project? Well, it's actually pretty simple. All we do is we're going to go ahead and go to our game loop scripts right here. Game loop, and we're just going to move our bullet scripts above our player scripts so they run first. Yeah, okay, so let's see it now. Yeah, as you can see, they're underneath the player now. That's good, that's what I wanted. So now we have bullets in our project. I'm just going to make the speed to like 3. Did that help at all? Oh wait, no, I have to click the replay. Yeah, okay, that looks a bit better. Let's set it to like 10. Yeah, okay, that's more like it. Okay, one thing I'm noticing, the bullets aren't going off screen. So, yeah, as you can see, they are just sticking to the walls, which is not good. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and go inside our update bullet, and we're just going to go ahead and inside here, below this repeat loop, we're just going to go ahead and check if how should we do this so that we repeat through each one? Okay, so let's just go ahead and inside this repeat loop here, because it's already set. So inside this repeat loop, we're just going to go ahead and grab this item I of bullet X here. If item I of bullet X is less than -260, so I can see it go off screen, right? I want to see it go off screen, so if item I of bullet X is less than -260, or, I'm just going to put a bunch of ors in this loop here so it's easier later, so, or, if item I of bullet X is less than -260, or item I of bullet X is greater than, I'm just going to swap these because I'm lazy, if item I of bullet X is greater than 260, or, let's see, or item I of bullet Y this time, so if 200 is greater than, if 200 is less than item I of bullet Y, or, this one over here, or item I of bullet Y is less than -200. That's our if condition, and this is going to detect if a bullet goes off screen. Stick that right inside our repeat loop here. So if that's true, we're going to go ahead and delete, go to variables, delete I of bullet dir, hello, duplicate, my computer's really slow today, for some reason. Okay, delete item I of bullet dir, delete item I of bullet X, and delete item I of bullet Y, so that should be here. Yeah, okay. And, of course, this will actually skip an item, because if we delete one, and we're gonna skip the item right after that, because we're gonna change I by 1 right away. So instead of an if, we're gonna actually need an if else. So if else, we're gonna drag this whole if condition in here. Drag this in here, drag this inside the top. So if else, so if blah blah blah, delete item I of bullet dir, item I of bullet X, put a Y. Okay, and then we're just gonna go ahead and change I by 1 inside the else. Now, if that doesn't make sense, that's fine. It's weird too, it's just math and like how Scratch works. Anyway, so yes, that's how we don't skip an item. Now, of course, we need to change the set I to 0. We need to change this to set I to 1 so that it repeats. It's so that it starts with item 1 instead of item 0. Okay, so let's go to full screen and let's test this out. Alright, yes, I see them disappearing. They're going away, but do you notice that they're kind of like sticking to the edge before it deletes? Yeah, that's caused by Scratch again. As you can see, if I go off screen, right, I can't actually go off screen because Scratch doesn't let me. Now, why is that? Well, it's Scratch issue. Scratch doesn't allow sprites to go off screen, but this can be easily fixed by just going to Game Loop, dragging a looks. Remember that big costume we made and we didn't make use of it in the first episode? We're just going to go ahead and switch costume to big at the very beginning and before all our broadcasts, and we're just going to switch costume to blank at the end of it. Now this shouldn't change anything, so let's just test it out. Yeah, so now they go off screen, and I can go off screen as well. Yeah, okay, that's good. So now I can go off screen, and the bullets can go off screen. Now, of course, if you don't want the bullets, if you don't want the player to go off screen, that's fine. Okay, so I think this has been pretty successful. Now we have a way to shoot bullets at our enemies. Now, we don't really have enemies, do we? Next episode, because this episode's been over 30 minutes, over half an hour, next episode we're going to design our bullets to be a bit nicer, so that they look more, I guess, like, moving instead of just like a dot being drawn, right? But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, and, well, subscribing as well, which I already said. Yeah. Also, if you didn't like it, do whatever you want. I don't really care. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. See you at howtousewven.com, and see you next time. Bye.